and welcome back to Cape Corner, where we explore the history, story, and cultural impact of a different character or group every episode. I'm Blue.
And I'm Jordan.
Nice, good timing. And we'll be your hosts as we take this journey together. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good.
Cool. I'm writing a book. I'm doing I'm entering a contest. Maybe get some money and a book deal out of it. Probably not. Optimism never hurts.
So it sounds like if people want more information about that, they could get it by joining our Discord.
No, they can't. Shut up. I'm kidding, of course. Yes, please. It's good community, good people. A lot of fun. It's kind of quiet over there. Maybe you joining would spice things up a little bit.
We need some loud people.
Yeah, we need more people to be like me, obnoxious, unrelenting assholes.
That's definitely what our Discord needs.
Chaos. Speaking of chaos, today's episode is about an agent of chaos.
Fantastic segue.
Thank you. I didn't plan that, but I'm really good at flying by the seat of my pants.
Speaking of pants, no, I don't have one.
Fantastic. People are already gonna tune out.
They'll be fine.
Today's episode is going to be all about a character who never actually originated from comics, but has more than made her place within the universe of DC. She's the Cupid of Crime, the Mistress of Mayhem, the Maiden of Mischief, the Clown Princess of Crime. Today we're talking about Harley Quinn.
Oh boy.
I didn't realize she had 4 nicknames until I Googled.
I didn't realize she had any. I was very surprised.
Well, that's why I had to Google it, because I'm in the middle of I'm going to say it's Harley Quinn, and then I was I got to do my thing where I say their nicknames, people don't already know who I'm going to talk about, and then I realized I didn't know any of hers.
Wow. So, those are good nicknames.
They're really good. I'm very partial to the Cupid of Crime.
The Cupid of Crime, that's a good one. It's a very good one.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think it's safe to say that this is one of the most popular modern superhero characters.
Absolutely.
Everything from a lead role in the Suicide Squad movies, her own sequel movie, and I say her own because even though it was originally billed as Birds of Prey, they really were specific after the fact to call it The Emancipation of Harley Quinn or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, didn't they wind up retitling it?
Yes, they did.
To Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
Yeah, something along those lines, yes. She's had major appearances in the Injustice games. She's got her own HBO series now. She is everywhere. Girls will now sooner dress up as Harley Quinn for Halloween than Supergirl or Wonder Woman or anything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that's totally justified because her design is some top tier. That is primo design work. No matter what the interpretation is, even back in the day, her Jester outfit is fantastic. Yeah. So a little bit of backstory. Normally, this would be the part where I would talk about what comic issue she appeared in, but again, she was actually created by writer Paul Dini and artist Bruce Timm for Batman the Animated Series, and she first appeared in the episode Joker's Favor in 1992. So I was 1 year old. But I did grow up watching this show. I guess, holy crap, if it was that early, I must have been watching reruns. But
I definitely watched reruns because I had not yet been born. when this show premiered.
Oh yeah. I forget that you're younger than me. God, just kill me now. Anyway, so yeah, she was originally supposed to be a one and done. She was there to be a random henchman of Joker. Um, they thought it would be neat to have, like, instead of all of, like, the same face, like, Peter Griffin looking lumbering thugs that everybody has in Gotham, um, that they wanted to have a girl hench person. Uh, sort of inspired by the malls of the Adam West series. So they took the iconography of a jester. Apparently she was based off of a roller skating jester from a dream sequence from Days of Our Lives.
Yes, and I think that's so cool that that Paul Dini had apparently been friends with actress Arlene Sorkin and saw her portray this roller skating jester and was like, "Yeah, that seems like a good design for a supervillain."
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, so they just workshopped it a little bit and made a gun-toting henchwoman with a skin-tight jester outfit, and caused me to, among many other characters at the time, have early sexual awakenings. Man, the 90s was the era of kids, like, being exposed to a lot of sexuality in cartoons. SWAT Cats did it to me, Space Jam did it to me. If anybody ever asks why are there so many furries nowadays, it's because of every 90s cartoon. Like, we just didn't have a chance, man. If every single time,
The choices were limited.
well, it's not even limited. It's just that there was such a flood of anthropomorphic animal women that were all, like, so goddamn attractive.
There was
It's
that
like, yeah, we
episode
have
of
to.
Batman the Animated Series where Catwoman turns into a literal Catwoman.
That happened? I don't remember that
Yeah,
one.
there was an episode. There was an episode. You should go find that one.
Uh,
It's on
shit.
HBO Max.
Yeah. Speaking of, I've recently started watching the Harley Quinn series. So good. Oh my
Oh, you
god.
only recently started it.
Yeah, well, I didn't have HBO Max before now because I'm poor.
Ah, okay.
So
It's so good. It's so much fun.
I bought HBO Max to watch the Mortal Kombat movie because I really, really wanted to see it.
But definitely not to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League.
No, no, I did not buy it for that. I have not watched that, and you know what? I will not watch that. Goodbye, half of my potential fan base. The door is there.
But yeah, the Harley Quinn show on HBO Max is so much fun and delves so much more into the inner workings of the character. I'm amazed by it.
I think it is. It's great that the impetus for the entire show is her learning to go her own way. And I know, like, that's now quickly becoming, like, the classic Harley story. Again, The Birds of Prey got subtitled The Emancipation of Harley Quinn. It's about her, like, I don't need no man, all that shit. I know, I get it, but, like, I feel like it hasn't been done to death yet. It's just on track to get there.
Yeah, it could, but you've either got her with Joker or without Joker. But yeah, she's
Well, yeah, but
at least in modern comics, she's very much become her own thing, where Joker's just kind of a memory.
yeah, Joker is a part of her origin, but he is not the defining focal point of her character anymore, which is great. Um, but yeah, like, I'm sorry, I had a revelation just now.
What about?
I've still got the Harley Quinn Wikipedia page up, and I'm looking at the image for how she first appeared in the animated series, and I was just talking about how attractive she is, and I was like, Oh my god, is she the reason I've got a thing for black lipstick?
Oh my goodness. That could be.
Man, I feel like I just unlocked my third eye. Like it's like whoa, whoa, whoa. It makes sense now. Uh,
It all fits together.
man, I gotta close this page, or this is gonna become a really weirdly horny episode. Anyway, so all right, let's talk a little bit about the origin of the character as we were talking about. So, Harleen Quinzel, uh, PhD wielding psychiatrist. Is it psychiatrist? I always get psychiatrist and psychologist
I
mixed up. One
think
gives you medicine, one diagnoses you.
I think she's a psychiatrist.
I believe so.
Dr. Harleen Quinzel.
Yeah, she, up and coming mental doctor decides to go to where the action is, which is Arkham Asylum, and gets assigned to try and treat Joker. Joker is apparently so crazy that he'll turn sane people crazy, and he that's
Oh
sort of,
boy.
that's the thing, right? Like there, all the thing with Heath Ledger was like, oh, it's like the role is cursed because you gotta get so crazy. It's like that's obviously not the case. There's other shit going on, but
Hmm.
that's the story people like to go with, and it worked for Harley. Like the story was just that she became enamored with her sessions with him to the point where, weirdly enough, despite the fact that he was the one that was incarcerated, it almost began to reflect Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Like he was the one that had her captured because she had to keep coming back to him.
Oh,
And
what's the one that's like Nightingale syndrome?
what's
That's like
that?
it's like when a nurse falls in love with a patient because she's having to take care of him. It's like kind of a blend of those two.
Oh, yeah, that might be more apt then. Um, but yeah, it's like she starts to believe that because she's delved into his psyche, that she understands him in a way no one else can, and therefore she begins to find him much more sympathetic than he really is. And so when he's like, "Man, I just, Doc, I really wish I could get out of here and get back to murdering babies or whatever it is I do. Why won't they let me do that, Doc?" She's like, "Oh no, you know what?" And she goes and gets a fucking jester outfit and a rocket launcher and busts him out. And she renames herself Harley Quinn, like the Harlequin, like the jester. And is it the most stable ground for a character origin story? No. But it is something that makes sense for a character that was not supposed to exist beyond one or two episodes. So,
Yeah, and I'm amazed that they didn't even delve into her backstory until much later in the show.
in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, like they never needed backstory any more than you would need one for Thug number 3, who Batman breaks his kneecap or whatever. Like,
Yeah, because when she first appears, she is just a hench girl, and then it's some episode later they reference that she used to be a psychiatrist at Arkham, and it's kind of a throwaway line. And then it isn't until the new Batman Adventures with the animated redesign that they finally tell us this whole backstory.
can
I
we
found that very
all
interesting.
can we all be honest with ourselves, with each other, with the world for just a moment? Can we all just recognize that that design of Joker was trash?
It was awful. It was awful. I didn't mind the Batman redesign. I loved the Batgirl redesign.
I thought the designs in that season were largely really good. I love that they color coded everyone. That like Robin had red, Nightwing had blue, Batman had
Yeah,
yellow. Like I
yeah,
thought that was really cool. Like it's all black and then a color, and
yeah.
their
And
secondary colors.
I really liked pretty much everyone's redesign except for Joker and Catwoman.
Wait, Catwoman's redesign. I'm trying to
Catwoman's
recall
redesign,
it.
black suit instead of a gray suit, and they gave her like pale skin.
Oh yeah, it made her look like a zombie.
Yeah, that bugged me. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Look, I'll be honest. This one might earn me some hatred too, but I was never a huge fan of the original Catwoman design from that show, and I actually do kind of like the redesign. But again, a big part of that is because I've already admitted I'm weirdly horny for like pale skin and black lipstick. Like, so I can't help
That's
it, man.
fair enough.
I just get a big old thumbs up. I'm like, works for me.
Yeah, it's fine. I kind of liked that they gave Ivy a more unnatural skin tone.
It
Because
definitely makes more sense for her. Yes.
yeah, she looks like a normal human in the original design, and then they gave her the kind of green skin. Oh, fortuitous to bring up Ivy because
Bang bang.
how well intertwined she is with Harley's story.
Yes. Depending on the version you go with, they're either very close friends or they are in fact lovers. Like I call me crazy. It's not just for like the unga bunga me man lesbian hot thing, but genuinely like Ivy as Harley's significant other is so good just because she's genuinely supportive. Like, you wouldn't think that some crazy bitch who is like, humans are a plague, all humans need to die, except for maybe you. It's like,
I
would be
really
like,
like that in the Harley Quinn show on HBO Max. She's like kind of less extreme in that direction, and they keep saying anytime she's grouped with supervillains, she keeps saying, "I actually identify as an eco-terrorist," which is not the same thing. Which I just thought was really funny and a fair point.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of true. She doesn't really do things for what she perceives to be selfish gain. She does things to send a message, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of what that is then.
She
So,
wants to save the planet.
yeah. I I agree with the fight she's having. I just don't agree with the way she's fighting it.
Pulling a Sam Wilson there.
Yeah. Is that where I got that quote from?
Yes.
Yes,
Almost
you're right. I
verbatim.
remember now. I was like, this is a good quote. I wish I could remember who said it.
It's because Captain America said it.
Man, I fucking love that show. It's so good. We'll talk about that some other time, but look.
Oh yes.
Um okay, so the 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 whole thing of her story being one where she is sort of in a prison of her own making of being attached to Joker who never cares about her, doesn't appreciate her, uses her as a tool while under the guise that he just loves her so much, and like her finally realizing that he's full of shit and that she's better off without him. Like, I understand how it's easy these days to feel like they might be hammering you over the head with the female empowerment message. But the truth is, as long as this sort of situation continues to exist so much in the real world, it is still a message that needs to be put out there that, like, yeah, ladies, a lot of you are fooling yourselves into believing that you're in a much happier relationship than you really are.
And it
Sometimes
happens to men too.
it does. I should not. Stereotype by gender. Anybody can be a victim of emotional abuse and manipulation.
Yeah,
And
being a real symbol of getting yourself out of an abusive relationship makes Harley Quinn kind of special in the realm of these comic book characters.
it's one of the like because trauma and tragedy are very real things, but thankfully not everybody experiences them. But I feel like everyone, or a lot of people, have been in like emotionally manipulative situations to varying degrees. A lot of times it just comes down to you were in a relationship when you were a teenager, and teenagers are kind of assholes just because their brains literally haven't fully formed to be, like mature yet.
Right.
But regardless of what the reason is, a lot of times it's not malicious. sometimes people just think that that's the way a relationship is supposed to work. There are people that like stalk their significant other because they've literally been taught by media to believe that being overly concerned with what your significant other is getting up to is a sign that you just care more. And
Yeah.
so they themselves get fooled into doing these things that they shouldn't be doing. And so regardless of whether it's malicious or not, there are a lot of people that have suffered from situations that are at least analogous to what Harley goes through.
And I
Um,
really like that several times throughout both comics and the animated series where she was created, Harley Quinn shows us that it's not easy to get out of these abusive relationships because sometimes you really do love them.
oh man,
And
it's so easy to fall back into the mindset that
yeah,
you
the
dug yourself.
difficulty of it is kind of, especially for something like the animated series, which is dark for a kid show, but that was one of the more adult topics that they tackled was abusive relationships and how hard they are to get out of, because they show us time and again that the relationship is abusive, but within the animated series, he doesn't get out of it.
The
He ends
imagery
the series back in the relationship.
the imagery of him getting mad at her and pushing her out the window, and she's
Oh
like she
god.
fell like 2 stories, and like she's laying on the ground and then saying it's my fault, I didn't get the joke. It is so heart-wrenching. Like it's it is upsetting
That
to an
episode is brutal.
it really is. It's like I I'm not here trying to promote my fucking book thing that I'm writing for my contest or whatever. I will say it's especially resonating for me right now because what I'm writing is a story of how um, victims of severe trauma uh, can have a tendency to start blaming themselves. Like, in order to reconcile what happened to them, sometimes their mind sort of tries to create a shortcut to make it easier to accept by saying, well, I must have done something to warrant this. Either I deserved this or I caused this. And once you've begun thinking that way, it's very difficult to sort of disentangle yourself from that way of thinking. Like, but you'll never really be free to accept what happened to you, to cope and to move on until you recognize that it's not your fault. And the journey that Harley goes through to recognize that what was done to her was not her fault. It was all of the Joker's fault. Um, it's like you said, it's a very difficult process for her and one that she fails at multiple times. And that's why the times we do see her succeed, whether it's in the comics or in Injustice, which I want to get to in a bit, um, it it makes you love her character that much more because we all love a success story of someone pulling themselves out of a terrible situation like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of why she's so popular today is because there's a lot of abuse out there, and to have a symbol of like, even if I am still self-destructive and even maybe destructive to the other people around me, um, I don't need to be a perfect person. Hell, I don't even always need to be a good person, but I will be a person who can make my life and the lives of people around me at least a little bit better by removing myself from this vile relationship. That's something I can do. And I think that's very important because a lot of people, we're so bombarded with superhero imagery these days, and I personally think it's very good to have these inspirational figures teach us that we can be better. But sometimes it's also good to have the figures that can't be better in the grand scheme of things, but can at least incrementally like make progress. You know, you got to appreciate the small victories.
Yeah, it's just as important to have characters that can show us who we could be and to show us that it's not our fault. if we're not.
Yeah, I mean, like, what I'm getting at is she might still rob banks, but at, at least, she's like, uh, not condoning the actions of like Joker
Right.
anymore. So, um, I wanted to talk about the injustice interpretation because I I think that is probably actually my favorite version of Harley in all of the different iterations. Um, in the universe where Superman killed Joker, um, she originally went kind of Harley Quinn's Revenge, like the DLC for Arkham City.
Right.
Mourning. She gets the Joker goons together and is just like losing her mind, and she can't lead shit because she was always attached to the hip to the Joker, and she's just like going crazy and wants to hurt the people who hurt her Joker and all this stuff. But eventually, in that universe, she gets her shit together. She moves on and she becomes a better leader. She reminds herself, like, the Joker always made me feel dumb, but I've got a PhD.
Yeah.
Like, I am an intelligent woman. I can lead a group like this. And more importantly, I don't need to lead a gang if I don't want them to be a gang. She turns the Joker gang into a vigilante force for good.
Yeah.
They become an arm of Batman's Bat family.
That's so cool.
It's really cool. And like little changes to her speak so strongly in that. Like in Injustice 2, she's wearing her like Harley Quinn outfit, like she's got the red and black leather jacket, and she's got the diamond pattern, and she's got like she's doing the pigtail thing, not the jester hat. She's doing the pigtails with like the
Right.
one end is black and one end is red, but her hair all together is blonde. But then when she turns around, you see that she has another diamond like in the middle of her back, but around the diamond is the bat symbol. I was like, that's
Nice.
fucking great.
That's some top design work.
I love that. It's saying like, yeah, I'm still Harley Quinn. It's just that now I'm backing a different horse in this race. And like what's also great is that like because they're never especially consistent between games with these design choices. So like in Injustice 1, she didn't speak with the accent. She was like, my name is Harleen, get it right. And she was a little bit more serious, and she was like, these guys will buy you time. Go kick his ass, bats, stuff like that. But then in Injustice 2, she goes back to talking with the accent and acting sort of goofy and loopy and everything. But regardless, even when she's acting crazy again, she's still like, no, I'm not a killer anymore. I'm here to help people. Oh, God, I just remembered the bit where, like, because Supergirl is gotten to early on by the shitty Wonder Woman and Black Adam in that game,
Right.
and uh, she's having trouble, reconciling the fact that Superman is a dick, and trying to accept that Batman's not the bad guy, and that maybe Wonder Woman and them are also bad, and there's just a bit where Supergirl got knocked for a loop, and Harley just comes up to her and she's like, "Are you okay? Don't worry, we'll get you out of here." And she's like really caring. And then Wonder Woman just fucking stabs Harley with her sword, just runs her through. And that's the moment where Supergirl is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And she kicks Wonder Woman's ass for it.
Fantastic.
I love that Harley is the impetus for like the main character of that game finally turning around and realizing what's right and wrong.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think Supergirl and Harley particularly have a lot of no, there is a no, it's not Supergirl. Who is it? I just remembered there was some female hero. I can't remember if it was like
Is it Batgirl?
No, I don't think this was Batgirl. It could have been like Wonder Woman or Black Canary or someone. She was starting to fight with someone in one comic, and I remember this very vividly. But Harley just like asked if they could stop, and like the hero is obviously like, why would I stop? I'm trying to beat you. And she's like, I'm pregnant.
Oh,
And, and the hero's just like, oh my god, congratulations. And like they stop. They stop because she doesn't want to like hurt her.
yeah.
And it's like I know it's like kind of cheesy, but I really like that when like these hero and villain battles almost become more of like professional disputes rather than like I am diametrically opposed to you. You know, it's like we fight.
Those are always fun moments in comic books. I always really appreciate them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it depends on who's doing it. I saw one recently where it was Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. I mean,
I saw that.
like, it's still fun, but, you know, there's always going to be that itch at the back of my neck where I'm like,
nah, this guy is kind of done too much.
Didn't he rape Gwen Stacy?
And kill Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I mean,
although I don't know what's canon for that particular scene. Who's to say?
I don't know which Green Goblin it is, but for all I know, maybe it's Harry, and maybe they went the Spider-Man 3 route where like Harry's not that bad anymore. But I don't fucking know. But like he died too. But then again, no one stays dead, so whatever. It could be literally anything. So okay. I wanted to give the creators of the Harley Quinn series for HBO props, by the way, because if you were ever going to make a comedy-based DC series, Harley was easily, far and away, the best choice to go with it. Maybe a second would be like Booster Gold or something, but I will say bravo for doing Harley. Now, can we stop trying to use Teen Titans for the comedy? Because, look, I'm sure many of you who are listening maybe grew up with Teen Titans Go, but you're wrong, and I'm ashamed.
You're wrong.
Because, look, I'm sorry. I know it's different. I don't hate things just because they're different, but it's not just different. It's bad. It's bad, and it's not as good as the Teen Titans from 2005. That one had comedy, but it also knew not to constantly like do a beating my meat to Raven's legs or talking about waffles all the time jokes or whatever. Fucking
those are in there. I've never seen it.
There's an episode where Raven takes off her cloak one day, and you know she's like wearing the black leotard, and they notice really hardcore that she's got really sexy legs. And it's like, yeah, I thought the same thing when I watched the original show, but to make an entire episode where she decides to change her name and her outfit, she starts wearing a gold outfit leotard and starts calling herself Lady Legacy. And there's a bit where it just does a zoom in of her legs, and then Cyborg comes in from the side of the screen, and he's holding a bowl of like ground beef, and he just starts punching it over and over again because he's beating his meat to her legs.
Oh my god. This is gonna make me cry. Like the death of art.
It's whatever, man. Look, what I'm saying is they should have done season 6 of Teen Titans, and if they did that, then I'd be more receptive to this. But they cucked me with a single episode of a new arc, and then they were like, show's canceled. Fuck you.
I can't believe that's real.
Look it up. Look up Cyborg beating meat gif.
There's also the Beast Boy turns into a cow gif and is like squirting milk at people.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
Dude, it's that stuff. It's so weird.
What I can't get over is they would have the fucking gall to make fun of Young Justice. Bitch, excuse you?
Who made fun of Young Justice?
Teen Titans Go did. There was an episode where Superboy, Miss Martian, and Aqualad appeared, and they were the versions from Young Justice, and they acted like they were
like Other Earth, like they're actually the ones from Young Justice.
Yes, like
okay,
yeah, it was Cisco, Aqualad, and everything, and like nobody will understand that reference if they're not as old as me. But like there. The joke was that they were like overly serious and dramatic and gritty, and Robin felt like a dork because he wasn't as cool as them. So throughout the rest of the episode, he's like ridiculously overpecked and like has 5 o'clock shadow stubble, and he's got the massive square jaw. And he's
that's actually kind of funny. I'll give them that one.
Sure, but like only in terms of like how stupidly goofy that they are compared to that. But also, that's not what Young Justice is like. They even like they did the movie, right? Where it was like Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go or whatever, and
yes, I saw that.
They refer to the original Teen Titans as their overly serious versions of themselves, and I'm just like, did you not watch the show? They made a fucking episode where Beast Boy fights a race of tofu aliens because he wants a moped. Don't even tell me it was too serious.
On a side note, Young Justice is a great show.
It is. Wasn't this a Harley Quinn episode?
Probably at some point.
Sorry. It's just, that's like venom that's been boiling in my bloodstream for years now. So
I like to think that the tangents are the appeal of the show.
Sure. I'm sure some people will appreciate it. I hope they do.
Someone will.
Yeah. Oh man. Looking at you, Mom. Anyway.
So yeah, the higher meaning of Harley Quinn. I'm just kidding. But what was I about to say? Oh, I just wanted to mention that she appeared in the CW Arrowverse very briefly.
I did mean to mention that before now. Yeah, just the back of her head.
Played by Tara Strong, who is amazing.
Yeah. We got to have this discourse. Which voice actress for Harley do you prefer?
Oh man. Okay, well,
I adore Tara Strong. She's one of my favorite voice actresses, but I do think I like Arlene Sorkin's better.
I think Arlene Sorkin, well, partly, it's a little bit unfair because Arlene Sorkin literally created the character. It's like she is Harley Quinn. But Tara Strong does well enough that I'm totally fine with that being definitely a Harley Quinn.
Well, I'm going based solely on like voice quality, and I think Tara gets a little bit too screechy with Harley's voice sometimes. Like,
yeah, I can see that.
Even going from the Arkham Asylum video game to the Arkham City video game, where it's those two respectively. In Arkham Asylum, Arlene voices her, like when she's like in distress, she'll be like, "Scram, bats, get out of here!" But then, like when Tara does it, she'd be like, "Scram, bats," and I'm like, "Ah!"
The way I would put it is that Tara Strong is a very suitable second place, where I am totally cool with that portrayal. It's just not quite the original.
Yeah, I'm obviously never going to say no to Tara Strong. Fucking
kind of the same way I feel about like Kevin Conroy versus Bruce Greenwood for Batman. I'm like listening to Bruce Greenwood. I'm like, you know what? You've got this, but you're not Conroy.
Who was Greenwood's Batman?
Bruce Greenwood is in the Under the Red Hood movie and also Young Justice. He plays Batman in those.
Oh wait, is that the same Under the Red Hood and Young Justice?
It's the same actor, I believe, for Batman.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, he's a great one. Like,
yeah, he's a great suitable second to Kevin Conroy in my mind.
Yeah. The Joker in that Under the Red Hood movie was a little bit weird. I don't got a problem with Fred Tatasciore. However you say his name.
I don't know it.
Well, you've seen the movie, right?
Yes, but I don't know his
name.
name.
He voices Joker in that. You know how he's like, deeper voice.
Yeah, he's kind of a more normal voice.
Yeah. I'll look him up real quick.
When you're talking Joker, when you have Mark Hamill, there's no point really comparing anyone else. I feel bad for saying it because people work hard to be the Joker, but Mark Hamill is so my Joker.
I mean, he's the one that really brought him into like the limelight. Like, I mean, like, yeah, obviously Joker was like a well-known character before that. Like anything from the Adam West to the fucking '89 movie, but like the animated Joker was so iconic that became like the Joker for a lot of people.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
see, where else has Harley Quinn showed up? She showed
here's
up in the
some.
CW.
Well, sorry. Here's some examples of Fred Tatasciore work. Man, I bet I'm not saying that name right. Ben 10, Ripjaws, Cannonbolt, Way Big, Future Ben. Um, uh, uh, Adventure Time, Manish Man. Uh, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Hulk, Graviton. Um, like he's done some pretty. Actually, he's been Hulk for like a lot of the modern shows.
Interesting.
Ultimate Spider-Man, Hulk and the Agents of Smash. Um, he was Deathstroke in Young Justice.
Huh.
Yeah, like I'm very much like cherry picking his work here because his list is so long.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
talented guy.
I keep forgetting that Bunnicula is a series now. It's so weird.
Huh.
Like, why?
Why?
Bit that. Oh yeah, and that's not even getting into the fact that he was Gato from Naruto, and
Oh, very cool.
yeah. So like he's been in a bunch of shit. Anyway, point is, with do you want to talk about it like Harley's like arsenal? She's got like she's very
She's got that mallet.
she sure can swing a mallet. She really likes just bludgeoning weapons of all kinds. Like it's
Yes.
like mallets,
Blunt
baseball
instruments
bats,
of brutality.
mallets, baseball bats. I think she took Joker's crowbar at some points.
Oh
Like
no.
she, that crowbar has a long and sordid history.
Oh yes, it does.
Um, oh, I just realized they should totally do an epic rap battle of history with Harley.
They should. Why haven't they?
Well, they only just recently did Joker.
No, that's true. But they absolutely should. You're right.
Yeah, no, so like my train of thought there was like imagining the Jason Todd beating scene, and then I remembered that Epic Rap Battles referenced it, and then I was like, ooh. So ADHD. I mean, in terms of pop culture impact, like she's fucking everywhere these days. Like,
I mean, outside of the Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, she might be DC's most popular character, second to them.
yeah, yeah.
I think
mean,
she's getting to a point where she's rivaling the Joker for popularity.
it's really kind of astounding. I mean, like, it's kind of beautiful that a character who in real life was made to be throwaway by Joker was treated as throwaway, found her self-worth, and through that others found worth in her.
And one of the kind of rare comic book characters that wasn't made for comic books.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's especially for DC, they don't. I mean, more so in recent years, they've begun, getting into these waters. But for a very long time, like they would not accept their peanut butter and their chocolate mixing. They would not allow anything from their TV shows or their cartoons to get anywhere near the actual comic canon. Um, Harley is one of the earliest examples of that I can even think of. Like, I don't think the Wonder Twins were ever in the comics. Like they were made for the Super Friends. Really? And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, whatever their names are, Jan and Zam or whatever. Like they were made for Super Friends. They were the audience viewpoint character. They were young heroes that were trying to be there with the more established heroes. And for a long time, DC would not acknowledge that they existed. As a matter of fact, the first time I remember seeing a reference to them outside of the Super Friends cartoon was in the Justice League cartoon, where they kind of did an episode that was sort of like the Hyper Clan.
Oh yeah, the Ultimen.
Yeah, it was, and I remember like they didn't have the rings and the costumes, but like one of them turned into a big old like sea serpent, and the other turned into a tidal wave. I was like, "Holy shit! Is that the Wonder Twins?" They do have random powers, don't they?
Is next week's episode going to be on the Wonder Twins?
I don't know why it made me so excited, but it did, and I think it's just that shock value of like DC never does this. Like,
yeah,
even to the point where like when they decided to have Black Lightning like be a character, they changed his name. His name wasn't Black Lightning. His name was Black Vulcan.
Really?
Yeah, they basically were like, we're gonna just copy and paste the character, and they did that meme of like, just change it so the teacher doesn't know you copied from me. So it really goes to show what a special case of just incredible design and concept Harley is, that even by, I think it was like the late 90s, they were like, yeah, let's start putting Harley in the comics.
Yeah, 99, I believe.
Yeah, so she's weirdly inspirational for someone who does still, like bash people's brains in. Oh, have you ever seen the animated movie? It didn't actually get a whole lot of not acclaim, but a lot of exposure. Not a lot of people talk about it. I think it was 2013's animated movie, Injustice: Gods and Monsters. It might have been 14.
Yes, I have.
Are you aware that Machinima did 3 YouTube videos that were individual prequels to that movie?
No, I know what I'm doing after this.
Each one focused on one of the Trinity. One was about Superman. Since you're going to watch them, I might actually need to help you find them. Like, I think the originals were taken down.
Nah, that's sad.
I'll pull them up. Don't worry. I found them before. I'll do it again. But
I don't mind spoilers if that's what you were about to say.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Superman has spoilers, listeners. I want you to watch these videos and that movie if you haven't before, because despite that movie not getting a lot of exposure,
that movie is good.
That was so good. Why did no one talk about it?
It's Justice. Because, is it Injustice or Justice League Gods and Monsters?
It was Justice League.
Okay.
I think it's because if they like pass it in Target or whatever, and it's on the front, like if they're just like glancing and then going, they don't immediately recognize that those are supposed to be like the Justice League, because it's alternate universe iterations. It's not Clark Kent. Right. It's not Kal-El. It's the son of Zod. So like, yeah, like they're just gonna be like, oh, cartoon characters, keep going. I think that's what was working against it, was just the immediate facial draw of, like, oh, that's Batman and Superman. What's this about then?
Yeah, and this is also on HBO Max for anyone who has not seen it and wants to.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, so okay, the Superman one involves Brainiac, and this iteration of Brainiac is a literal child who cannot control his power, and he is a subject of what's the Wonder Woman mad scientist? He's not Hugo Strange.
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, you know the one that I mean.
Yes.
Actually, I think he was in the Shazam movie.
Oh, Savannah.
Yes, Savannah is like, he worked with Waller and made this Brainiac, and like, Superman has to deal with the fact that he's not fighting a villain. It's, just a scared kid who's out of control. Very emotional. Wonder Woman had a hers was okay. it was just okay. But the Batman one. So for anyone who doesn't know, this version of Batman is Kirk Langstrom. He was Man-Bat in the original universe. A scientist who was deaf, who wanted to cure his deafness by injecting himself with bat DNA, which never made a lot of sense to me, because isn't the thing that they're also supposed to be like deaf, in terms of urban legends? So it's, or no, they were blind. That's what it was. Whatever. My point is, he wound up turning into a big bat creature. In this universe, he does the same thing, but he turns into a vampire. And it's really cool. Because I always liked Batman versus Dracula. I thought that shit's cool.
Yeah.
The fight scene that he has, he's fighting Harley. And the Gods and Monsters iteration of Harley, holy shit, I don't think there's a Joker in that universe. She is amped up in the crazy to be that's a dark universe.
Oh,
and so
Lord.
She's like a dark Joker level of crazy. Like, the implication is she tried to cut off her own head in the past because her neck is stapled and stitched.
Oh my god.
She kidnapped random civilians, and their corpses are just on display with like hooks stretching their faces into smiles, and they're like, the dad's holding a pipe, and like the kids are like in front of the TV, so it's like the classic 1940s 50s suburbia image of a family. But like the flies are buzzing around them, and like pieces of their skin are falling off and shit.
Oh my god.
And she like has a chainsaw that she's fighting Batman with, and like I've already got enough phobias. I didn't need a chainsaw phobia on top of it. But guess what? Now I'm not comfortable using chainsaws. Would you like to know why? Because she goes to swing the chainsaw at him at one point, and he dodges, and she winds up hitting an iron pipe, and the chainsaw's grinding against the iron pipe for a second, and the chain snaps, and so the fucking bladed chain reels back and like stabs her and slices through her side, and I'm just like, ah!
Yeah, I'm not going to be using any chainsaws in the near future.
Yeah, it's a terrifying thought that, like, if the chain snaps, like, yeah, that's a motorized, like, that shit's moving fast. That could go through you.
Yep.
But, like, what's great is that at the end, like, he clearly wins, and she's just like, oh, all right, fine. Take me to jail. And he's just like, who said anything about jail? And then he smiles with his vampire teeth.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was great. It's a great introduction to that Batman. Oh, it's not Bruce Wayne.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's, but like, it's like a 5-minute video, but in that time, she quickly made herself one of my favorite iterations of Harley. It's terrifying. It's cool.
Yeah, that whole world is really interesting.
It's so fascinating. Like, I really can't stress enough how much I want more people to watch that movie. Please support it. DC does not like taking creative endeavors. They do not like breaking from their mold. So I feel like anytime someone finally gets the balls to do so, we should support it. It's the only way we're going to stop getting reboots every 5 years and start getting more interesting stories.
Yep, give me some fringe, background character movies. I want cool stuff.
I want a goddamn Static Shock movie.
Dude, I want a Blue Beetle movie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched RDC World 1.
I don't think I have.
They're their YouTube skit channel, a predominantly black YouTube skit channel, and they're hilarious. And they did a series of like versus themes. At first, it was old cartoon themes versus new cartoon themes, and then it
Ooh.
was old cartoon themes versus anime themes. Um, and then later it was like anime themes versus video game themes. But for old cartoons versus anime, there was a bit where the old cartoon themes did the Static Shock theme song, and then it cut to the anime theme crew, and they were like, "Man, what's the deal with Static? I mean, he's not even a real superhero." And then it goes to the cartoon guys, and they're like, "Since when? He's DC." And they're like, "He's DC? I ain't seen that man in one movie. Probably because he's
My
black."
God.
And then they're like, "Yeah, true."
That's, yeah. He deserves a movie.
He does.
Get Static a movie. And
I
also
like,
get Harley another movie. Get Harley a Gotham City Sirens movie. That's what I want next
yeah.
for Harley.
Look, I don't necessarily have anything against Margot Robbie, but I don't think I'll ever fully be able to enjoy her interpretation of the character because one of the first things I ever saw of Margot Robbie's Harley was from one of the Suicide Squad trailers. And look, I'm going to put this out there real quick. I'm not a prude. In fact, some people take issue with how sexually open I can be. I'm totally fine. Whatever you want to jack off to, it can be the most terrible shit in real life. But if it's just fictional, I think you should be allowed to enjoy it. A lot of people enjoy fictional things specifically because it's fictional and they would hate it in real life. You don't look at a person playing Grand Theft Auto and go, "Oh, you like murder." You don't go to a person watching Dexter and go, "Oh, you like murder." No,
Right.
they
Enjoying something is not a condonement of the real world act.
exactly. So like whatever like and I'm not going to get too deep into it because I know I'll get a lot of people mad at me. Even people who like me will get mad at me because I've had arguments with close people about this. Like,
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
no, it's just like because there's a hot take these days where like a certain fictional thing that I don't want to name by name, they think that if you like drawings of a certain thing, then you are a sex offender of a certain thing in the real world. They think they are equivocable, and people are not willing to accept that most people are capable of differentiating reality from fiction.
Oh, I see
Um,
lots of Twitter arguments about that. Yeah.
yeah, you probably can gather what I mean. Where was I going with all of this?
I don't know. Harley did something to piss you off in a trailer.
Oh, yeah, I'm not against sexuality, and I don't think that there's this need for this big argument of are superheroes too sexy. They've been doing it lately with My Hero Academia. Like people are like, well, but Momo should fucking who cares? Like let the titties like bounce or whatever. Like people, sex has always been in this medium.
Superheroes are sexy.
Yeah, they're hot. Like, even the guys. And it's not fair if you bitches want to fucking thirst over Jason Momoa, but I can't like fucking Mina Ashido's sexy booty wiggling in my face or whatever. Like, it's all the same.
Okay, but for real, what did that trailer do to piss you off? I'm still confused.
It's that where like she smashed like the music cuts. She smashes the window because she wants to grab this sparkly purse or whatever, and she's wearing like the super booty shorts.
Oh yeah,
And she
okay,
like
I remember that.
bends over and like her pussy crack is right there, like front and center in the screen, and it just like it doesn't cut to Rick Flag. You just hear his voice off screen because they cannot deviate from that booty shot. He's like, "Really?" And she like slowly, like sexily, like stands back up and she turns and she's like, "We're bad guys." I'm like, fucking, I get it. She has an ass. Damn girl, you shit with that ass. I get
He's
it.
a very sexual character.
I get it, but I think that they were pushing it way too far with that. Like,
Well, to be fair, Suicide Squad is a bad movie.
yeah, boy, you ain't wrong.
But yeah, I really hope that we get a Gotham City Sirens movie with her. I think that she portrays Harley Quinn very well, and I want to see a live action Ivy and Catwoman. I know that we've had a live action Ivy and a live action Catwoman, but I want all three of them in the same movie.
I'll be completely honest with you. I always get Gotham City Sirens and Birds of Prey mixed up. Birds of Prey is Batgirl, Catwoman, and Huntress, right?
I
Is that
don't
the
know
Birds
if
of Prey?
Catwoman's. I think it's Batgirl, Black Canary, and Huntress. I think
Right. Okay. And then the
typically
Sirens is like Harley,
Catwoman and Ivy.
Catwoman, might be right.
Yeah, that'd be a fun movie. If you
Right.
get the casting just right on Ivy and Catwoman, that'd be a fun movie.
Get Uma Thurman back.
Get Uma Thurman back, yes, please.
Having fucking plastic lips again. It's so stupid. I hate that movie so much.
Hey, see, like I said, I'm a fandom optimist, so I actually really love rewatching that movie every now and then. It is so much fun because it approaches the Adam West series in terms of I legitimately can't tell if you were trying to make this hilarious or not. So I just go with it. I think it's great.
Yeah, man. Look, if they do make a Gotham City Sirens movie, like, again, I don't think she's bad at playing Harley, and for all I've heard with like the Birds of Prey movie and everything, like she's doing better. But
Oh, have you not seen it?
no, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to watch any of these DC movies. I watched Joker. I like that. I'll watch the Batman. But anything that's even remotely connected to this DCEU, I just don't care.
Birds of Prey is isolated enough that it's at least worth a view, especially since it's on HBO Max and you have HBO Max.
I might watch the second Suicide Squad just because that looks so batshit crazy.
Oh man, it's James Gunn. It's James Gunn doing a Suicide Squad movie. You can't turn it down.
Yeah, so I'll probably check that one out.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But the I don't know, man. I'm just kind of like I kind of wish that they would now do someone other than Margot Robbie, just because it's like the taste has been kind of soured for me a little bit.
I guess I can get that from your perspective, but from my perspective, she is awesome as Harley Quinn, and I can't really see anyone else nailing the personality of this character that well. So I'm fine with her doing it as long as she can do it.
That is a statement that is always made out of ignorance, though, right? Like we just because we can't think of a specific name that we would be like, that would be perfect. We can't think of anyone who can do it. When in reality, we probably have people that we know of.
Oh yeah, there's definitely an actress out there who would be able to do it. But
we just haven't
Margot Robbie does it very well, and she's already here.
I know, but it's just like it's one of those things where it's like we haven't specifically thought of our ideal casting as Harley. So because we haven't lined the two pictures up, we haven't gone, oh yeah, she would be great at it. So I'm not saying I'm against Margot Robbie continuing it. It's just my own like situation that has created this.
Yeah, you kind of just want this whole thing to restart.
Yeah, I want it to stop is what I want it to do.
Yeah.
If DC wants an interconnected universe, they gotta clean slate, redo it, stop making 4-hour trailers and thinking that will make for good movies. Because this is how it works. You cannot have a cinematographer try and just suddenly become a writer, director, producer, and then think, yeah, there will be nothing bad that comes from this.
To any Snyder fans listening to this, please join the Discord and call Blue a dickhead.
Yeah, fucking fight me, scrubs. You won't.
Do it. Come call him a dickhead. We need more people in the Discord.
Pay me and I will fly out to punch you in the face. Look, all I'm saying is you stick to what your strengths are. I'm not against someone branching out, but if you're going to branch out, you need to gain the training and the expertise to branch out. Like right now, I'm really good at, like, I don't know, doing computers or whatever, right? If I wanted to become a plumber, then like if that's what I want to expand my horizons to be, I would expect people to be like, yeah, we support you in plumbing. But then if I tried to go and fix someone's sink right now, having never plumbed
Now,
before.
to be fair, I don't think he inherently makes bad movies because I like Man of Steel, more or less. There's a couple problems, but I generally like Man of Steel. Batman versus Superman is pretty much a train wreck, but there
It's
are things that I can find to appreciate about it. But then I really don't mind his Justice League 4-hour cut. It's too long, but I don't mind it. And Army of the Dead, I think I've mentioned before the show started, makes no sense, but it was fun. So
Yeah.
I think as he keeps making movies, he's not a bad option.
Yeah, I got a couple counterpoints. My first is that if the only way you are able to make a theatrical version of a movie better is to make it 4 hours long,
It's to
then
make
it
it
probably
4 hours.
then it probably is not a good movie, just like generally.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and my second point is I was never saying that he's like inherently bad. What I'm saying is that he's tackling aspects that he is not equipped for. Um, the jobs that he's taking on lie outside of his wheelhouse. In terms of cinematography, if you look at his work and things like in any of the modern movies, but more specifically movies where he was just the cinematographer, like 300, like when somebody has a well-made story, when somebody else directs that story very well, and then when Zack Snyder makes it look really fucking cool, you can come out with a fantastic product. The problem is, Zack is really just attuned to making things look cool, so when it is also left to him to make the story make sense, make it enjoyable, make it engrossing, make it thematically resonant, make the characters feel like actual people. He's not good at that stuff because he has not yet practiced in doing it. Yes, maybe as things go on, he'll get better, but I don't want to have to sit through 10 shitty movies before I start thinking, like, yeah, this is about as good as Iron Man 1 from 2008.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's just my thing. Um, we should do that thing that we do where we get like inspirational. But
Oh yeah, that's the
I
thing
don't,
that the show usually does.
like earlier I was kind of naturally going that direction with talking about Harley finding her self-worth and others finding worth through her, but then I was like, no, we still got to do the episode longer. So I
I mean,
sort of
hey, if you want to cut the whole back half of the episode
I will
and
not.
end it on a positive note.
I would rather just awkwardly shoehorn that thought back in. So here's what I'll tell you: if any of you ever find yourselves in a situation where you have to take a step back from your relationship, recognize that you're not in a great place, that this person is bringing you down rather than uplifting you, and it seems scary to, take the plunge to get out of that situation, not only will you feel better about yourself afterwards, others will feel better about you too. You will find that it's not so difficult because you will find support. There is always support, and if you need to reach out to someone, I encourage you. Nobody deserves to go through an abusive situation, and whether it's your counselor, whether it's your family, whether it's a hotline or an online service, it does not matter. There
And
will
it's not
always
your fault if
no,
you're in the situation and you're being abused.
no, not at all. I understand how easy it is to let yourself believe that. Trust me, I went a long time blaming myself for the things that were happening to me. It's hard. It hurts deeply, and sometimes it makes it feel like it hurt less if you try shouldering the responsibility of what's happening to you. I get it, but you need to let yourself be free from that sort of thinking. It's the only way you will ever come to be in a better place. So please reach out for help. And as you start to make progress, life will be brighter for you. You will be brighter, and people will recognize that. Just how Harley found so much more joy in life. Like, notice how every depiction of her with Joker is like dark palettes, just by extension of being around the Joker, who is constantly portrayed as an extremely disturbing character, because she is in the same lighting and the same tone as him, she is always washed out of color, but as soon as she's free, it's like explosions of colors and brightness. It can feel like that for you too, and I hope that you get there.
And it's worth mentioning that this, Harley applies to abusive relationships, but that same advice can be applied to anything in life that you're unhappy about.
Yeah, it's we we as a people tend to find ourselves in a situation and then convince ourselves that we're stuck there because the alternatives in our mind, we don't think about them hard enough. We make them seem scarier than they really are. And taking a chance is difficult. It's scary. I want you to know that when I first started this podcast, I quit my job when I started this because I was miserable there. And I had been looking for other work um, for months because that job, I was getting mistreated really badly. Um, I was getting accused of things I wasn't doing. I was called a liar and a manipulator, and I was being treated like I was this super negative person, but the job was actively making me feel more negative as a result. And it just got to the point where I finally couldn't take it anymore and I quit. And I'm not saying that that was the right decision because it hurt me financially, and I was only able to do it because we recently had, come to a sum of money that was able to get us through until I got another job. But it sort of saved me. Um, because the alternative of just quitting and doing something I really wanted to do was scary. I put it off for a long time. It seemed harder in my mind to be able to recover from a decision like that than it ultimately really was. So, yeah, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a familial ties or a job that makes you feel shitty or anything in life, you you can be brave and do what's best for you. And it probably will be at least a little bit easier than what you're imagining. I think that's our lesson for the day.
Yeah, that Harley Quinn is the epitome of move on and move up.
Well said.
So
Alrighty.
yeah, I guess that does it for us.
Yes. Please give the episode a like, a comment. Follow me on whatever platform you're listening on. I'm on Alexa. I'm on Pandora. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Podbean. I'm on damn near everything except for Apple because I don't know. I guess they can suck my nuts. They don't seem to want to answer me. Maybe toss $1 or two my way because I have a Podbean patron. Um, it would really help. It would let me, buy better equipment to record this, to edit, all that good stuff.
Maybe
Join
check
the
out the
Discord.
Discord to help us figure out what our next episode's going to be.
Most definitely, most definitely. Um, and like, even if it's not talking about the show specifically, the people in there, very fine people. They're just really nice, really funny, great people to hang around. Um, do you want to? Do your social media thing.
Oh yeah, you can find me at Jordan Blueman everywhere. Anywhere that has usernames, that's my username. So I'm pretty easy to find.
And you know what we say, we like a man who's easy. Sorry.
I think that's what people mean.
Look, man.
So anyway, that'll do it for us. Until next week, wash your hands, be nice to people, find an excuse to laugh today.
And until next time, stay strong, stay true to yourselves, and remember, we can all be heroes.